Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios and the Gurkha Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Pat Chamberlain.
Can you shift down a little bit? Just a smidge.
What?
Can you scooch down?
What the fuck's that supposed to be about?
Trying to get in frame. But I don't want to be too close to your
We
fuzzy.
just start the thing. You tell me to move?
Well,
Like
thanks.
Trying to kick me away?
Thanks. Now we're both in frame.
That's a shitty way to start a show.
You're the one that looks like a teddy bear over here. You're like fluffy top and bottom. What's going on over
I'm
here?
wearing a suit next week. No, you just fucked yourself.
Well, be careful because you wouldn't want to find yourself in the predicament that you were in on Friday night.
I trust that you wouldn't
bring the story up. I'm going to bring up the story, so it's going to happen.
Yeah, but I would think you wouldn't be an idiot to where you would burn my suit.
Oh, no. I mean, I wouldn't do it on purpose because that's just a dick move. But, again, shit could happen like it did on Friday. And you just never see it coming. And, then you'd have the Michael Her classes to come up and bail you out again. So, I don't know. I mean, we had a great time on Friday night. We were at Twins. Pat was able to get me out of the house. And he had just come from work. So he was in his three-piece suit. He's got his tie on. He's got his pocket square. Which you matched, which Herclot said, no, you don't do that.
See, I like how it looks, but, whatever.
I mean, you pulled it off, but
I'll take his advice.
I mean, he's GQ, so I mean, I guess he knows the rules. I mean, I don't know.
I'll take whatever he tells me.
I'm with you. I'm like, yes, Michael. I didn't know. I fucked up. I'm with you. I didn't know. So, but anyway, I thought you looked good. So we're hanging out, and then I was getting ready to start my next cigar, and then you come over to me, and he says, I gotta go home. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I burned a hole in my suit, and like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I'm like, what? And this was his trial suit that he just bought for a decent amount of money. I won't disclose. It's nobody's business. But it wasn't cheap. And so he was panicked. And I'm like, how bad is it? Like, I'm thinking when he first told me, I mean, like, the full-on hole, like, right through. And I'm like, that sucks. So I'm like, where's this jacket? So we go downstairs into the office. And I see the jacket just kind of like thrown into a pile. I'm like, I guess we're already sending it off. Just hole in it. Fuck it. Just toss it. So I see this jacket, and I'm like, where's the hole? And I see like some dark spots where like the ash got rubbed into the fabric. But I'm like, where's the hole? And he's like, if you stretch it like this, you can see the hole. And so I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it wasn't like gaping. It was a pinhole that if you had stretched the fabric, it would open. I'm like, that's not so bad. I'm like, they could probably put a blind stitch in there, a little bit of steam to relax the like it'll be all right. And Herclots was in town, and Herclots was doing an event there, so he was upstairs, and he got wind of this. He comes down, and I have a picture of it somewhere. And he comes in, and he's like, let me see the jacket. And he like takes over, and it was like, George Padron coming in and re-rolling a 1926. I mean, it was like, he comes in, he's like, I got this. Give me some water, and he's like, I'm going to fix this suit. And he spent a good 20 minutes just, rubbing it and getting all the ash out of the fabric, cleaning it up, trying to get all the other nonsense away from it, drying it, washing it, whatever. And Pat's just standing there the whole time being like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I fucked this up. And after a while, I'm like, we're looking at it, and I'm like, you can't see the holes. It's getting better. And Mike's like, put the jacket on. Pat puts the jacket on. He looks good again. Brushing the arm. He's like, no one's even going to know. You look good. And then he was like, okay, I guess I'll be all right. I'll stay and, hang out. I won't go home and cry about my suit. But, he takes the jacket off. He goes and he gets a sweatshirt. He, puts the jacket away. But then he continues to complain about the jacket for the rest of the night before getting into his other gripe of coffee in the courthouse, which I don't even know if I have the energy to tell that one. But you had some gripes on Friday night, man.
It was, you got to get it out sometimes.
You got to get it out.
It's you just got to get it out.
Yeah.
Someone had the audacity to bump into my lower left elbow.
And for the record, that wasn't a hint at me. I was nowhere near him when it happened. I was in another conversation. He came up to me. He was like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "What happened?" But yeah, some dickhead, his words, not mine, must have just grazed up against his shoulder, and that was it. So I don't know. Are you okay? Have you recovered from the emotional trauma?
You know, I wore the suit today and I didn't notice it, so I'm in a good spot. But whoever did that, fuck them.
Oh, however, the funny thing about that suit is, so later on that night, so Pat's sitting next to me, and I happened to look down at the side of his thigh, and I noticed that the side seam on the leg is just like it's about an inch wide where it's starting to separate. I go, Pat, just so you know, the seam on the pant is now coming out, and he's like, fuck you. I'm like, no, like I'm not messing with you, but like the seam is starting to pull apart. So they you know, you could burn a hole in the jacket, the pants are falling apart. Like, you didn't go back and try to return the suit. Mike told you, like,
I haven't had time. I'm gonna. Well,
you
the
should.
pants, I'm gonna go back. The jacket's kind of a moot point now. The jacket's fine, but the pants.
Don't say anything about the jacket. Hopefully they don't notice.
Yeah, well, I don't think I got like life alterations for it, but you know, I just have such a chiseled waist and meaty ass thighs. You know, it's tough to fit a suit to this immaculate physique.
Chiseled.
Apparently.
I don't know if chiseled is the word that I would use.
But
I mean, you're not fat and you're not like a bum, but I don't know if chiseled is the word that I would use.
But the yeah, I don't know. It's I've had those pants altered like 3 times, so I have no clue. They're not that tight either. I think it's from a previous because they had to pull in and then they had to pull. Yeah, well,
They were tight.
I don't know.
They were tight like a tiger.
They just don't like. I don't know. I go. Whatever. Buying suits is a headache. So
I bring it up because I mean, like, shit happens. It was a good story, and we got Mike involved, and you know we were, you know, getting it fixed. But it was the fact that you kept going on and on and on about it, and it was like, wow, he's really upset about this. And I to a degree, I feel bad because I've been there and I know what it's like to just be like worried
I was
about.
so pissed.
But at the same time, it's like, all right, Pat, like, it was 3 hours ago. Like, are we still talking about that?
I was a grumpy man that night.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, not as grumpy as you were the other night when you called me about your other thing, which I won't bring up. But
oh yeah, no, yeah, not quite.
yeah, that was like, I was like, whoa, are you okay? Like, I wasn't like, we're not even joking around. I'm like, are you all right? Like,
Oh, I was pissed.
do you
Yeah, that one.
do you need to come over and like have a couple of drinks? Like, do you need a friend? Like, that's okay.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
But I'm working on bailing you out of that one, so
Yeah, well, we'll make that happen, and I'll make a scene about it.
maybe you'll write an article about it.
Yeah, write an article.
Like, this was my trials and tribulations of whatever. I'm not going to get into specifics on that one. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. It's another beautiful Wednesday night. And we don't have a guest with us tonight. This we were supposed to. We had a rescheduling event last minute. So Pat and I decided, let's just kind of hang out and take a break from the guests. Because it's not that it's a bad thing, but sometimes it's just nice to just be, you know, alone with your own thoughts on your own show. And just, you know, not have to do an interview and whatnot, which, not that they're bad. Again, we do them all the time, but it's nice to mix it up. So, it's Christmas next week. We figured we'd talk about some of the stuff that's hot for Christmas this year, as well as maybe, you know, other random stuff, like Pat's soup debacle, which is now out there. But before we get too deep into this program, we're going to talk about a few of the people that help make this show happen. That's starting with our friends at the number 2guyscigars.com. That's right, the number 2guyscigars.com. Head over there today for an amazing selection of cigars and accessories from all over the industry. Some new stuff, some old stuff, stuff you know and love. Do me a favor, go in there, order some cigars from them because they're great people. Show them some support. They support us. You should too. They know what they're doing. Buy some of the stuff that you normally like to smoke, but also buy a couple of things that maybe you're not familiar with. Try something new, because I always encourage people to try something new. I think it's very important for any cigar smoker, whether you're seasoned pro or you're a newer cigar smoker. As a newer cigar smoker, you should be always trying something new. But even as a seasoned pro, you should always be trying something different. Explore your palate, expand your palate. And the best place to do that is at the number2guyscigars.com. Now, Pat, what are we smoking tonight? You brought these cigars into the studio, and I mean, I know what they are, but I'm going to let you do the spiel since you brought them. So,
Yeah, it's the Plasencia Year of the Snake. It's they started. I don't know how many years Plasencia has been doing it. Was Year of the Tiger the first time they did one of the zodiac signs?
my
think it
mind goes back to Tiger, but I don't know if I think it was the first one.
I think
It
was the
hasn't been
first
that
one.
long. It's only been a couple of years.
Yeah, I think Tiger was the first one.
I think it
But
was.
Now they do an annual release of the Chinese zodiac sign cigar, amongst other companies. But yeah, this year it is a Lancero. I don't have the dimensions of the cigar, but I'm presuming it's a 7 by. This is a little bit of a thicker Lancero,
Yeah,
so I'd
it
say
almost
like
looks
a
like a 40.
like a 40, 42 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually a true Lancero is like 7 by 38.
Yeah.
It's definitely not.
It's a
I mean,
little bit
I have
thicker.
a little bit of a 38 right here that is left in my ashtray,
Yeah, it's a little bit thicker than that.
and it's definitely.
Oh, you have the you have the cellophane over there.
Oh shit! Yeah,
It should
yeah. It's definitely like a 40 or a 42.
probably has it on.
Oh, it's a 40. Yeah, it's
Oh.
a 7 by 40.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
called
boom.
it.
So yeah, that's that.
It's good so far. It's earthy. It's a little not so peppery. It's very earthy, dry spice. I'm getting a lot of cinnamon. We're having some spiked eggnog tonight because it's Christmas and why not? It was Nicole's idea, so I'm not going to take any credit for that because I don't want to listen to it later. But the reality is we're having some of Market Basket's finest, which if you're outside of New England, you probably don't know what that is, but it's our local grocery chain that most of us normal people who can't afford to go to Whole Foods every day. That's where we go. And it's got some Ron Zacapa 23, which is delicious rum
Yep, that is a good combo.
with a nice dusting of ground cinnamon on top, just for a little.
I wouldn't call it a dusting. I
I
saw
mean-
you pouring it in there. It was like a.
Was it too much for you?
No, I just
Is
a
it taste-
dusting is like Salt Bay to me. You know, it's not.
That's
like,
a dusting.
It's not what you were like trying to like really got the cinnamon.
The
in there.
head was clogged. I was trying to get it out, and then
Oh
it went-
yeah, but it's not a dusting. Is what I'm saying.
and then I had to match the other one. I tried to make them identical.
You
so-
made it sound more elegant than it was. It wasn't elegant.
Well, you know what? Thanks for ruining that, Pat.
No, I mean there's cinnamon on it.
This is why nobody likes
You
you.
didn't fuck the cinnamon up. There's cinnamon in it.
Is it
but
delicious?
It just wasn't a dusting of cinnamon. That's all I'm
Mm.
saying. I'm just correcting. I'm
It's
making sure
very
the
creamy.
record's accurate right now. That's all.
It's very creamy. It's delicious.
Creamy, grainy.
It's
one would say
boozy.
as
I
well.
definitely went heavy on the rum. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that one I can say you probably See, Zacapa is. I like it when it's heavier. I like it to be more alcohol forward. That sounded concerning, but no.
No, I mean,
When it's Zacapa, you can never have too much Zacapa.
no. And I brought everything down so I can make more after the show. This is delicious. I'm getting sauce tonight on eggnog. But anyway, that's what we're smoking tonight. That's what we're drinking tonight. And as always, cutting and lighting our cigars, we have with us none other than our friends from SC Dupont. That's right, Shake Up the Legacy, featuring the new Gradient Collection. This is the line 2. Beautiful, soft flame lighter. Some of the sharpest cutters you will ever use in your life. And the new Legrand, which everyone knows is soft flame and has a secret torch. I like to say, I don't think it's a secret if you know, but I mean, it's not really a secret, but I think it is.
We
And
got
I think it's cool.
Biggie here as well.
The Biggie, which is also a fantastic light. That model came out last year. Flat flame lighter, fantastic. I've been a big fan of flat flame lighters. I've been telling everybody about them, and most of the people that I've turned on to a flat flame lighter have come back to me after using it for some time and like, yeah, good call, great lighter. I love the style. Like the way it lights my cigars. So definitely check those out today. Ask your local brick and mortar retailer for ST Dupont products. So Pat, the airing of the grievances. I forgot that I put that up there. Well, I think you already kind of aired your grievance. Maybe, you know what? Maybe you'll get into the coffee story later.
I could probably do that at some point.
I think so. What does this say? What does it say? Risk are free? What is it?
What does it say? Only those who risk are free.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. were you trying to be a plush stuffed animal tonight for the
You
show?
know, long day at work today, and I'm like, I'm gonna dress comfortable. It's supposed to rain a little bit. So I'm like, just dress up in like the polar bear fit.
I like it.
It's damn comfortable. Let me tell you that.
You know, when you're down here, it's all about comfortability. This is not a stuffy lounge. This is like, come comfortable. Come as if you were at home.
Yep, and here I am.
And here you are. Yeah. You understood the assignment.
Yep.
It took you a few times, but you understood the assignment.
Yeah, the suit might happen. I just have to wear one that I'm
You can
fine
always
with-
wear the
with-
suit, too.
With the elbow getting compromised.
Let's see. We got a couple of friends with us here. Griffin Smith, evening, gents. Enjoying an Unstolen Valor by DTT. Ooh, delicious cigar. Thanks for being here with us, Griffin. It's our friend Mike. Good evening, gentlemen. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah. I'm not Jewish. Has Hanukkah started yet? Because I know I'm not because I know it changes, right?
I believe it started. Yes.
I forgot about Hanukkah. All right, excuse me while I look it up on my phone.
Yeah, it started, isn't it? It's almost like the
Hanukkah,
duration of December,
2024.
Isn't it 21 days?
No, it's 8 days.
Fuck. Yeah.
Evening of Wednesday, December 25th. Oh, it starts on Christmas, actually. And it runs through Thursday, January 2nd. Oh, wow. I always thought it was way earlier than that. Also, people also ask, why is Hanukkah so late, 2024? Hanukkah follows the Hebrew calendar beginning on the 25th day of Kislev. In 2024, this date aligns with December 25th, the Gregorian calendar. Huh. So, interesting. So this year, Christmas Day and the first day of Hanukkah align. That's cool. Everyone can be happy on the same day.
Boom.
Now that is a Christmas and Hanukkah miracle. The Jews and the Christians can finally come together as one.
There you go.
I'm not being an asshole. I'm really I always thought Hanukkah was like before Christmas. And it's not 21 days. It's 8 days or it's
Yeah,
eight
I
nights.
was off on that
8
one.
nights, I think it is. Yeah, you were way off. But no, that's interesting. No, that's cool. Sometimes, if you look at it from a gift perspective, I guess depending on the kind of family you come from. I mean, you got 1 day with presents or you get 8 nights. I've often thought about this. I'm like,
I like the 1 day.
the 1 day's not bad. You got one big day. They got 8 nights. I'm like, they got a whole fucking week. They got more than a week. Just like every night is a thing. Like, I don't know. Am I playing on the wrong team? You know what I think is, growing up, there was always a couple of kids that were like, like half and half. Like, their mom was Jewish, their dad was, Catholic or whatever. So like they did Christmas and Hanukkah, and I'm like, those fucking kids get it made because they're like, I get both. They get Christmas and Hanukkah. They're like, yeah, that's right. Clean it up.
Yeah, rack it the fuck up.
I'm like, dude, out here fucking wilding out. And they get the bat mitzvah, which, they get the big party.
That's when the chair thing.
Yeah. But I was like, can you be like Jewish and like Christian or Catholic or whatever? Like, can you get the bat mitzvah and then can you do like first communion? Like, can you clean up on the religious? Like, can you like do that too? Like, that would be badass. I know it's not all about the gifts, but when you're 12 years old, it's all about the gifts. So, I don't know. These are the questions that sometimes they come up, and I'm like, do you get both ways that way too?
I don't see why not.
You know what I mean? It's like, why not, dude? It's like, well, I mean, my mom's Jewish. I got to do that. But then, my dad, he's into Jesus and Christmas and all that other stuff. So I got to go that way too. Why just stop at one? Just be like, you know what, dude? I'm all about everybody. That's the way it should be.
That's how it needs to be.
That's how it should be. The message that we're conveying tonight is everyone should come together. Okay, it's all about love, being together. It's the holidays. It's a season of giving. It's a season of family. Everyone should be together. Everyone should just love each other. So here's to you, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Even though it hasn't happened yet, that'll be next week. Which, by the way, we should talk about this.
Oh, I just made that connection in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. The show
Shit
falls on
balls.
Christmas Day and Hanukkah this year, and then New Year's Day. Well, New Year's Day, I'm not really doing anything. Actually,
well,
no.
I told you what you're doing.
Well, that's
already.
Wait, is that New Year's Eve or New Year's Day?
shit. What is that?
I think it was New Year's Eve. I still don't know about New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, I don't think I'm doing anything. So if you're not doing anything, we can still do our regularly scheduled program on New Year's Day. Christmas, I'm sorry. And I love you, Pat, but I ain't going to do this on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to watch it on Christmas Day.
No. I mean, I'm going to be eating food and probably drinking. And hopefully pawning off my child on someone else so that I can get some shut-eye. Pass out on the couch and then get woken up to be like, oh, it's almost over. Okay, cool. Goodbye, everybody. And then, go to sleep. Because you can never get too much sleep when you're a dad.
That's valid.
You would know about that.
I wouldn't, but
No.
I can appreciate it.
Yeah, you'll see someday. And like Larry said, time to enjoy the kids. That's right. Last year, we had my daughter last year. She was like, trying to do the math, so August, so September, October, November, December. So she was about 3.5, 4 months for Christmas last year. So, it was her first Christmas, but, she was still an infant, so we didn't really do much. This is, our first year with her, I know she doesn't really know about Santa yet, but, she's a toddler, and she's running around, and she's trying to talk all day, so, she's just more, animated. So it's our first Christmas doing presents with her and getting into the whole thing. So I'm really excited about that. Doing Christmas morning and being yeah, Santa came, and she's like, I don't know what you're saying, and I'm like, it's okay, next year you will. And then she opens all her presents, and I try to explain to her how some guy came into the house and left them here for her.
Broke in our house in the middle of the night, took over cookies and eggnog, and just yeeted and just left shit behind that he took from someone else.
Yeah, this year she still won't get it. But I'm hoping next year she starts talking and she's like, Dad, what happened on the presents? I'm like, Santa came. She's like, who's that? This guy comes into your house on Christmas Eve and he leaves presents for you and he eats all your cookies and drinks all your eggnog or your milk or.
And he has an army of elves that slaved under him.
I think someday when she's 9 years old and Nicole's like, oh, leave a cigar off of Santa, and it's like, oh, I didn't know Santa smokes cigars, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, he does. It's going to be that's a little suspicious. So, yeah, I don't know. Larry, for me, with me, it's the granddaughter. Larry, that is awesome, buddy. And thanks for watching. It's I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, so it's great to see you. Yeah, I mean, I have not entered grandparenthood yet. I just entered parenthood, so I know my time is coming, and I'm excited for that, but I'm not there yet, but I know it will come, so... but congrats for you, man. That's awesome, and of course that's special. My parents are still new to being grandparents, and they're getting into it now, and they're very excited, and they already my mom keeps calling me asking about what size is this, what size is that, does she have this toy, and I'm like, please don't go too crazy. And I feel like my mom's getting a little bit carried away because she's just so excited, and it's I can't blame her for that. I mean, you know what I mean? What am I gonna say? I'm she's she's all about it. So so my as I'm Larry, I understand. I get what you're saying, because my parents are in the grandparent phase, and it's new, so it's oh, all extra. I'm getting the surprise visits. Oh, I'm coming nearby to do some shopping, but oh, I'm gonna pop in anyway. Yeah, they just want to see her. They don't want to see me, which is fine. I get it. But anyway, it's a season, family. We covered Christmas. We covered Hanukkah. There's one more holiday that I just want to give a little bit of love to that Pat doesn't know about because he lives under a rock. But for those who know, they know. And on December 23rd, we celebrate Festivus. So that's why we're airing of the grievances, which I tried to explain to Pat what that is. He still doesn't get it. But he acts just like Frank Costanza. And George Costanza, too. He's kind of a good mix of both. I think he's like George Costanza. Every time I see him, he's got something going on. And I'm like, yeah, that's George. But he doesn't know who that is. So I'm trying to show him the ropes, trying to get you cultured.
I think they're based on me, so...
Based on you?
Yeah.
That show came out before you were born.
They knew of my soon-to-be existence.
They're like, this kid Pat Chamberlain's coming along, and he's going to have a gripe about everything.
Yeah, so we need to make a character based on his Attitude.
Maybe. Have you seen the show Curb Your Enthusiasm? Do you know about that show?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not a huge TV guy. It's not that I'm against it. I just haven't had the time to. Because when I watch a TV show and I get into it, I will binge it to the point.
What's
where
the
it's
last
not
show
healthy.
you really got into? Was it like Suits or The West Wing?
No, not Suits. Everyone tells me to watch Suits. I've never
You haven't seen Suits?
No.
Oh, come on. You, of all people, should watch Suits.
Everyone's told me that. I think that the worst binge was probably Game of Thrones when I was in college. But
I was never a fan.
it's a long series though, and it probably took me certainly less than a week to watch it all, and I literally didn't do anything but watch Game of Thrones.
That's what most people do, yeah.
Yeah, but that's me. Like if I watch another show, I will binge it. So I just know not to do it because I know.
No, I'm thinking of something else. I thought of something I was going to say, and then I'm like, no, I can't do that. That wouldn't be right, even as a joke.
Is it about me?
Mm.
Yeah, you better watch it.
You trying to challenge me now?
Nope.
I was going to say, you look like you watched the fisting playlist on Pornhub.
What did it even mean?
Like you binge watch that because you're a weirdo.
How does anything we talked about today have to do with one porn, two fisting?
I don't know. I grabbed it. It was the first topic I thought of. I was trying to think of weird ones.
Yeah, you had to dig it.
MILFs, maybe? All right. I'll switch it up. I'll give you MILFs. You look like you also could probably binge watch the MILFs playlist, okay? Come on.
I don't know why porn came into this so quickly with you.
You know why? Because I was watching a reel earlier.
Oh, I heard I was watching, and I was like, all right, hold on a second.
No, I was on Facebook, and I was watching this reel.
About porn?
And it was, no, it was the guy who was at the NAMM show, which is like a music show, like a trade show for like music and all that. And he was at like a booth that had a drum manufacturer. They had all the kits out, and he said that he got kicked off of playing on the drum kits in that booth because he did the Pornhub like video intro thing.
I didn't
And
even know that's the intro.
he did that, and then the guy came and was like, "You're out." It was like, damn.
All right, more you know.
The more you know. The more you know.
Yeah, what do you know?
The more you know. That should be Coop's slogan. The more you know.
That'd be good. You get like a little rainbow that goes over his head.
Well, that's what it is. You know about that, right?
I'm gonna act like I do, because I just.
Yo, you never seen that? The thing where it's like, I think because it was like on CBS or something. It would be like, the more you know. And
Oh,
it was
you
like
know
a
what?
shooting star with the rainbow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why I'm like, oh shit, you actually remember that one? Yeah. Anyway, but we're smoking the year of the snake from Placencia. Now, usually holiday time, it's a very interesting time because I don't know, Pat. Would you agree that more than half of all limited editions that come out in a year come out at the holidays? Not all of them. I mean, like, there's a lot that come out, around the year, but I would say for the most part, at the end of the year when the holidays are coming, that's when, like, the limiteds that are special, a little bit more pricey, are coming because it's the holidays and they're going to get someone to buy it for them. It's when Fuente sends out all of their, extra rare Opus X. It's when, I think Drew Estate sends out a larger set of Liga Privada, and there's a lot of like Matt Booth. I know over the years with some of his more limited projects, they've come out at the holidays. Like, a lot of the time, you look around right now. Padron 60 just shipped. Just in time for the holidays. Like there's a lot of stuff that comes out November, December. So there's always a lot of options because you can always buy core line stuff, but then there's always random limiteds that are coming up that you hear about all year, and then it's like, oh, when's it coming out? Oh, holiday. The Zodiac stuff is one. Davidoff is another one. They've released some limited edition products, at the holidays, including but not limited to their Zodiac release, their Year of the Snake, which just started shipping last month. So it's interesting because we talked about like, well, what are people buying? In holiday time, it's a big box time, whether you're buying for yourself just because there's maybe there might be some deals, or you have family members that are like, oh, I'm gonna get him some cigars he likes. You're getting box purchases for the most part on those gifts, I think, because people are gonna spend a little bit more and get people something a little special. They're not gonna give them a bag with 4 cigars in it. They're gonna give them the box and make it cool. And give them a nice gift. At least from in my experience, what I've seen, and I'm sure you probably would agree with that too, working in a store. But what else? Like, what else are people like getting? You know, like that is like a gift that maybe it's something that's extra rare, extra expensive, and they're cashing in on the gift card, and oh, I'm gonna send the missus in there to get it for me. What have you been seeing lately?
So typically, I mean, everything definitely, a lot of stuff ships this time of year. I find that this time of year and then Father's Day are the two kind of big shipment
Father's Day,
times for special things. And I think it's because, again, I think Q4, things kind of slow down a little bit. We're not, like, I mean, obviously when it comes to, like, holidays, it doesn't, but I think when it comes to people buying product, it slows down.
In
Q4.
general, yeah.
Like, the sales don't, but I guess the manufacturer to retailer, that transaction, to me, slows down, in my opinion. So I think the special releases, as they come out, everyone feels, I have to buy these. They're limited, they're whatever. So I do think that this is typically a time, but I think retailers can also offload what they get for special things at this time of year. But it's a weird range. I've had a lot of gift cards.
Really?
Yes.
Like purchased or cashed in?
Like buying gift cards for people.
Really?
Well, because I mean, you have a lot of spouses that come in and they're like, I don't know what he smokes. I don't know anything about this stuff. It's better get a gift card, But we track history, so like at Twins, like you can put a name in. I think most places do this. I'm sure Two Guys does the same thing.
Two Guys does, yeah.
You can put their last name in. It shows their purchase history, and then it just kind of makes shopping easy.
Like, well, he's bought 37 boxes of Baccarat.
And then
Let's take a stab in the dark.
He only smokes one cigar a week. He told me. Oh yeah, he's screwed.
But I'm gonna grab a water. I'm sorry.
You good? But so I find that typically the purchases they vary based on everything. I mean, so you can have boxes. Obviously, it's a lot of boxes, but I find that the special release cigars, like what we're smoking tonight, this is more often the time that these sell, and it's purely on recommendation. It's not like you don't have someone coming in being like, oh, Christmas time, I want to get like a limited edition cigar. Blah, blah, blah. It's more so because it's a gift, and people kind of open to suggestions, and we're like, oh, well, if you want to get them something different that they probably wouldn't buy themselves, then this is something you should get them. Which, that's when it comes to stuff like this selling this time of year, that's commonly what it is. It's, get them something that they're going to like based on purchase history, but they won't buy it themselves because it's double, triple, quadruple the amount of money that they spend on a cigar in general.
It's hard to justify it.
Yeah,
but when it's a gift, it's like, well, it's a gift,
Yeah. Which, and I like that too. And it's kind of like the common debate. And would you rather buy 4 of your daily smokers or 1 special cigar? Most people are like, oh, I'd rather have 4 cigars than 1. But I think when it's a gift, it's already more than you would have gotten otherwise.
Right.
Right. And you might as well get something that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah.
Whether it's more expensive, whether it's just something that you just haven't had that's kind of in the same price range. I just find that that's around this time of year what you see a lot more of. But then you get people that just buy boxes of stuff that they know the other person likes, which is fine, obviously. But a lot of the special stuff does sell. Like the unicorns that Saka ships, they come out actually like right around this time. Like I think Twins got their shipment like maybe a little bit over a week ago. And this is when stuff like that sells because it's just like your Christmas Day smoke. Everyone usually brings out something special for the holidays, and that's typically when these purchases happen. So, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, to answer your original question, that stuff is either shipping at this point or had shipped, so they're in the stores at this point.
I think some stores hold back certain items that maybe they get. I mean, not in April, but maybe they come in September, October. Oh, let's maybe hold this back for a month and then, put it out for the holidays and bang through it. And I've seen that, which it seems crazy. But why would you just put it out and get rid of it? It's like because some stores try to think ahead and be like, well, business is good right now. I'll wait until it's a little bit slower, right in between, like, the end of the busy season and the holidays. And then, hey, the holidays are coming, and then drop something hot, get some sales. There's all sorts of strategies out there, and believe it or not, I've seen it. I've seen a lot of different things.
Plus, if it's a high demand item, like
Yep.
it'll bring people back in after the holidays to get it. Then they're in the store, they might buy other things. And then you have the gift card people. It's the January is always an extremely busy time because you have all the gift cards coming in now.
Oh, yeah, everyone's
right?
cashing in. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
So a lot of the time people kind of put.
Do you
things
notice
out.
the people with the gift cards or just Christmas money in general, whatever? Does it seem like they buy heavier because they got all this extra free money on top of money they would have spent anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I find a lot of conservative buyers of gift cards. Like, they try to stay within that range.
Of whatever's on the card?
Yeah.
Well, it's only $100, so what do you have for $100?
Yeah.
Like,
there is a lot more of those than you would think. And then there is people that just put it towards, a box that they'd otherwise get anyway. And then there's some people that might upgrade what they typically buy. And, like, if they typically buy, like, a $200 box, but they have a $100 gift card, they'll get like a $300 box. But yeah, it's weird. Like, Christmas is definitely an interesting time for. There's really no distinct theme of purchases. It's kind of all over the place. It's either a spouse coming in, they don't know what they want, or they just pick the first thing, or they just rely solely on what the system says, or they
the
take
recommendation.
A suggestion.
Yeah.
So it's really diverse with how people kind of handle the Christmas shopping or the holiday shopping in general, not just Christmas.
Orion commented here, and I thought this was interesting. The markup these days is getting out of control. So I'm not sure where you're from or who you buy from. The first thing I will say is you're not wrong. But every shop's a little bit different. It's different, shop to shop, state to state. And it's funny because I've heard this come up. And now, up here in New Hampshire, the stores that we have, you work for one of them. I've frequented all of them for the last 8 years. Used to be much more often than it is today. But I'm familiar enough. My point being, I'm very familiar with just about everybody who's around me. And they're usually pretty good. I would say pricing between like Two Guys and Twins and Castro's and
Yeah, it's straight
it's pretty
MSRP.
It's pretty straight. We have no tobacco tax. There's no sales tax in New Hampshire. So I mean, New Hampshire is about as good as it gets for buying cigars. I will say we're pretty lucky. Now I have traveled around the country, so suffice to say, yes, I've been in some shops where I do a double take and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's true. And, there's a lot of reasons for it. People have high overhead. They got to pass it down to the consumer. It's part of doing business. I get it. It sucks, but I get it. There are some shops out there who charge a premium because they feel that it's warranted because of the experience that they provide for you in their lounge. That's usually more targeted towards the tourist traps. So, for example, Las Vegas. Let's pick a random city out of the blue. If you go to any of the lounges on the Strip, you go to Davidoff, you go to 8, whatever.
Especially 8.
Yeah, especially 8. I mean,
The Papa's Frida was like $38 there. I was like, what the?
an acid Cuba Cuba was $30.
Yeah.
I mean, why? Because you're in Las Vegas, you're on the Strip, you go into a high-end lounge where, Michael Jordan has a locker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the only argument I need. A regular mom and pop shop that's charging prices like that, there's something wrong there. I'll just say, and I don't know any shops off the top of my head specifically that are like that outrageous, but I know they exist, and shame on you. I'm sorry, shame on you. There should not be a reason for that. Small town store. If you have to charge prices like that, then you have to reassess everything else about your business. If you're renting prime space in a multi-billion-dollar resort in Las Vegas, and you want to charge $35 for an acid. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You're not going to win that battle. But yeah, man, it's true. And, in addition, prices keep going up on everything. The cigar prices do keep climbing, but everything else goes up, So, when you're running a store, you're running a lounge, you have other costs. I get it, man. You got to cover yourself, but within reason. Like I said, for the most part, most people aren't too bad. There are some stores that charge a little bit higher than MSRP, even on like basic stuff. And it's kind of like it is what it is, but there's a limit to that where I'm like, all right, this is ridiculous. I'm not paying $30 for.
And one of the things that I think kind of goes unnoticed or not often thought about, especially in New Hampshire, and there's some smaller shops that I hear bickering about because of they have policies that you have to buy from there, and then they have like a cut light fee kind of thing, so the cigars are a few dollars more than they're supposed to be MSRP'd. But you factor in that a lot of licenses require like the 60/40 like New Hampshire.
Yeah.
So you have to try to tailor a system to where you're making 60% of your profit, or gross sales, not profit, gross sales from tobacco in order to be able to have your license. In New Hampshire, and then states have things that are similar recipes to that. So you got to try to, like, that's why, like, there's instances where I've heard people complain about, like, you have to buy cigars at this lounge, you can't bring your own in. And I get to an extent to where there is an other side of the argument where if they bought a box the day before and they come in with a cigar from that box, like, should you really make them buy another one? That's a different debate. But it's just the fact that if you're going into a shop one day and you're going to drink, I don't know, just say your tab's going to be maybe $50, $60 for booze, right? So if you're going to do a 60/40, you want to try to get $70, $80 of cigar sales, right? Which now when you buy a box and then you drink a lot more than that box, it's going to off-skew that number.
Right.
So I think markups and stuff of that sort is to secure the license, which, again, isn't really a retailer owner problem. It's more of like, again, it's the state, it's government, I guess you can call it.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing too. So, but markups are getting pretty bad. I mean, everything's going up in general. I mean, for instance, like the Placencia here, like I think the Year of the Tiger was $40. The Rabbit I think went up to $45. I forget how much the Dragon was. Might have been $50. And now the Snake, this was $49 at Twins, which is strict MSRP for it. That's what it's suggested to be at. It's $49. So everything is going up collectively. It's
Yeah, and he had another comment here, but he asked about my shirt here, which Nicole made these. These are our shirts. We made these. So on our old website, on Smokin Tabacco 1.0, we did have a store on there, and we had it linked to our account where we have our shirts and stuff made. That didn't translate over to our new website, which is what we use now. There's a lot of reasons why, but they are available. If you would like any of our custom apparel, let me know. Shoot me a message, and I will get in touch with you on how to get it. I will send you the link to the store the site that drop ships all of our stuff. Because we have a proprietary store on there too, so you can order stuff through there. But yeah, let me know. And I will hook you up with that because people do ask me from time to time about that stuff. I can get that for you. But to your next question or your next point. I don't know why this is like so small. That's weird. You know what? Let's try to fix this. I don't know why. There we go. Regionally might be a lot of variance on different products, but on Fuente Opus X, where Arturo Fuente or Cubans is across the board out of control. Well, first of all, let me address one thing right out of the bat. It's easy. The reason why Cubans are so expensive
because they are expensive.
Because they are expensive. You can't buy them here, so you have to order them from somewhere else and get them here, which is expensive to do that. However, Cubans are also expensive because their MSRPs are insanely high. So, about 2 years ago, Habanos decided to change their pricing model, and they based their pricing model off of Hong Kong, China, where most of Cuban cigars are going to today. If you didn't know, now you know. And the products it was kind of varied, but most of the well-known names like Cohiba and Trinidad, they went up as much as 300%. Not everything went up that high, but they all had significant ones. Those were the highest. So you're talking about products that you can't legally buy here. So it's already a little bit pricier just to get them here. And now you're gonna have a Cohiba Robusto, which you used to be able to buy a box of those like 600 US. That box now is about $1,900.
Yeah, it's
It's for cigars that may or may not all burn perfectly.
yeah. I know. I used to
It's a lot to spend.
like. I love Cubans, but it's not worth it. And then oftentimes you do get construction issues, and there's a lot of prongs to the ladder in order to successfully enjoy a Cuban now. So, but then the Opus thing I can address too is that I will agree with the rare Fuente releases. I think a lot of
It's mostly store to store, but yeah.
it is solely store to store, because if you look at the MSRP for any of those products, it is like the most reasonable thing. Like I always, because everyone, it's not a secret that I'm a huge Fuente nerd, especially with Opus. And one of the common things I get is how insane the pricing is and how no cigar is worth that money or blah, blah, blah. And the MSRP is actually like the most reasonable thing ever. I think like a core line Opus is like maybe $20. When you look at like other companies' top line cigars, like we'll just take what we're smoking now, like Plasencia, the Almaforte, which I think most people would agree is very much worth what you're paying for. Their top line cigar, it's like $20, I think it's like $20 to $24 if you just go straight MSRP, no tax. So I mean the Opus is in line with that, and then you get to the kind of the more special things like the Opus Blues. I still think like the MSRP for those is like maybe $30. Could be a little bit over. Yeah, I don't think it's below 30, but it's about $30. Again, reasonable. But when people, because of the whole supply and demand, but when people get that, they will mark it up to, I want to say it's probably like, I mean, I've seen Opus marked at almost like double. Like well, maybe even over double. Like a core line going for like maybe $45, $50 a stick, which is over double MSRP. That's insane. And I don't know why. Now, if it's selling, to an extent I can understand why. If it's gonna sell, why not? In the sense of, if you have the money to buy it and you want to just pay more to always have access to it, then go for it. But
Unless you get stuck with triple eights. God forbid. God forbid you suffer with those, right?
I don't pay a premium for it like that though. But I think that's kind of, when I see it done, I think that's why. Just supply and demand, it sells, and if people that have the money to spend on that, they're like, oh, I don't care as long as they have access to it. But it is insane.
It's true, and there are people out there that they have the money and they're like, I don't care, I just always want it. Okay.
But it definitely is like when you start buying Opus for, if you look at it at that value, like a core line Opus for like $50, it's not a $50 cigar, and it's not supposed to be, right? It's a very good cigar. But that's not, and no, even like Fuente would say that's not what the market's supposed to be for that cigar.
No. Yeah, and there's a lot of shops that they know the demand that it has. They inflate the price because they know people will pay it.
And mind you, most of the people that I find that spend the money for that are people that aren't huge Opus people. It's the collectors. It's the people it's the same people that are spend $110 for a bottle of blends.
Yeah.
It's just it's rare, it's hard to get. You see it, you're gonna spend like the extra money to get it, just so you can. It's the hunt. So it's to me, it's those kinds of people. Because what blends, I think now with price increases, it's like $70 for a bottle now, $60 to $70. In New Hampshire, because again, it's New Hampshire runs the liquor store, so it's all MSRP'd. But yeah, you see blends going for like $120 to $140 now.
Here's my gripe with the bourbon people, right? Bourbon would be a little bit easier to get and a little bit more inexpensive if it wasn't all for the piece of shit bottle flippers, and I see them all the time.
I know.
And it's like it's always like, and you see him because you always see him come from a mile away. It's just like this old, like boob-looking guy comes in. He's like, "You guys got any Weller?" And then the second he gets a bottle, he goes outside. He's like, "Look, I have $300 for it, or I'll trade you for a number Tilly." Like, guy doesn't even drink bourbon. He's a Scotch guy, and he goes in there. And he buys the allocations, and he flips it. And then the stores know about it. So what do? They either lie and they say they don't have it, which they do. They play that game. Or they'll be like, yeah, we got it. It's $200 for a $45 bottle. Or more. And it's like... And I see these people at Total Wine all the time. They always like travel in twos or more. But usually twos. Because they bring their buddy in because they're like, oh, we got to get multiple. And, they go right to the manager. They don't even go to the shelf. They go, hi, do you guys have any Weller or anything from Buffalo Trace? Do you guys have any Pappy? I got cash. I'm ready to go. And it's like, you're the reason why it's hard to get that stuff. You're the reason why people overpay it. It's because of the bottle flippers. It really is. It's the bottle flippers. And it's a shame because there's some good stuff out there that people like to enjoy from time to time. And it's getting harder to acquire it. More expensive because people are, stores, are trying to discourage people from buying those products. You hear what they want to do in Ohio? I think it's Ohio. Ohio has proposed for this reason. I don't know if you heard this, which with your legal background, I'd be curious if you looked into it to see if it's even like something they could do. They're proposing a bill that would make it mandatory for liquor stores to crack the bottles on like all of those items at the point of sale. So, for example, if you go to a store and you buy a bottle of Pappy, whether you pay your MSRP or you pay $3,000 for it, when you pay for it at the register, they would have to crack the top open and open the bottle before you leave to try to eliminate the secondhand selling of that, because most people won't buy something from you off the street if the bottle's already open, because now it's like, oh, is it really in there? Or, did you do something to it? So the mentality is like, oh, we'll make people open the bottles at the point of sale to try to discourage bottle flipping and secondhand sales on the allocated stuff. Isn't that mind-blowing to you?
So you're going to have open containers of bourbon and booze in somebody's car when they're driving away from the store? That sounds like
that's a legit story.
That's a slippery slope.
That's a legit proposal.
Like you're opening a container for the transit home.
And it's like
I have to look into it.
And it's like what about a guy like me who's like, okay, like, I'm willing to drink it, but maybe I'm not willing to open it right away. Now I have to open it because some jerk off's gonna show up with his stupid friend to try to buy it to flip it.
I would be not okay with them opening a container of mine.
Yeah.
To drive home.
Yeah.
Especially because it's corked. Well, some of them are corked, not all of them, but it's not a secured. I'd have to look into that one. It's just from like the functionality of it, it's dumb. Legally, I don't know if it sounds. You can kind of do any. I think it would be a slippery slope if they passed it legally, because you're gonna have a lot of people that are possibly drinking. Being like, oh, they opened my bottle when I left the store and it spilled on the floor. That's why it smells like alcohol in here. It's, so. Yeah. Right now, if you pull someone over and there's an open container, it's like, you didn't buy it like that. You opened it and it's in the car. But if they're opening it for you, then there's some arguments there.
Yeah, I don't know. I was reading that on a couple different websites and I was like, you gotta be absolutely fucking kidding me. I'm like, this is just getting out of control. And I know the distilleries, the only way the distilleries can combat it is like Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace in the last 10 years has spent I want to say $2 billion expanding the distillery to be able to make more bourbon. But the problem is it takes time. You can, they've been in the last several years, Buffalo Trace has been distilling 5 times the amount of booze that they normally do but it has to age in the barrel. So you can do that. But now you have to wait for it to be ready to be bottled. So right now, I think what you're seeing is a lot of stuff that in some time will be much more accessible, but we're waiting for it to age. And, I think Heaven Hill has expanded. I think all of them have expanded. Buffalo Trace being one of the bigger ones, they've definitely spent a lot. So they've taken steps to increase the production to limit this issue. But, we're still waiting for that product to become available. So Orion made another comment. Bye, Larry. Thank you for stopping by. It's great to see you. I appreciate it. Good point on bottle flippers. The cigar community doesn't have that issue, thankfully. Thoughts? They do. They do. And I will tell you, it's actually more prominent than you think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cigar flippers. There's groups on Facebook for it. And I always know who they are too. From time to time, there's been stuff that I've had in excess, and I've just wanted to get rid of it because it just needs to go. That's not really flipping. That's me being like, I have too much shit and I have to let it go. But there are people who I know, because I watch the pattern, and when I know things are dropping at stores, within a 48-hour period, all of a sudden they show up and they have all these things that are ready for sale. It's because they're in tight with their local stores, and they make deals with people so that they get all the allocations, and then within a day, they got boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff, and they're putting it up in these groups, and they're like, oh yeah, look what I got, $500 for, $200 box of cigars. And they're doing it, and they're making money off of it too. I'm telling you right now, I've spoken to people who have literally explained to me how they have a second income flipping Opus X.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Like, people have, and they talk about it like, and for me, it's like, okay, like, that's cool. Like, I mean, I buy cigars, I buy in large quantities, and, I smoke in large quantities, and, like, that's cool. But, like, these people talk to me about, like, their little operation like they run a Fortune 500 company. And, like, or it's almost like you're talking to Pablo Escobar, talk about how much cocaine he sells, and like how he breaks it all down. He's got these guys that bring it in for him because they know people, and they break it down, and like, I'm like, it's fucking cigars, guys. Like, and granted, I mean, look, they're making money off of it, so I mean, money's money. I get it, but I'm like, damn, dude. Like, I literally had a guy tell me for like a half an hour. He explained to me his entire like operation and how he does it and how much money he makes. And I'm like, wow, like, what the fuck? Like, and I know you've probably seen it too. It is a lot more prominent than you think. And you know what? Good for those guys. If they have a second income off of doing this and they have the time and the energy, like, you know what, dude, good for you. Can't really hate on it too much. But all it does is it does hurt some of the other little guys because it takes more product away from them. And then some of those guys then turn and go and they pay 3 times more for it. So, I mean, look, it is what it is. No matter what kind of product it is, there's always going to be that secondary or, that's just life. I mean, it sucks. It is what it is. But like you said earlier, the manufacturers, they know about it. They try to find ways to, perfect example of how it doesn't always go well. You know about Kentucky Owl, right? You know what Kentucky Owl did.
Mm-hmm.
So Kentucky Owl used to be pretty, affordable bottle of bourbon. Now it's not. Because Kentucky Owl said, okay, so if you're going to come find our bourbon and you're going to go sell it for $200-$300, we're just going to fucking sell it for $200 or $300. And now what? You can find Kentucky Owl on every shelf. Because no one's paying $250 for a bottle of Confiscated. Nobody. Who's paying that? Even at retail. I've had Confiscated. I think it's good. I like Confiscated. I'm not paying $200 for that bottle. I think it's good, but I'm not paying $200 for that. Fuck that. I'll pay $55. I'll pay $75 for that bottle. I'm not paying $200. What are you, high? Come on. But that's what they did. All right. Well, we're just going to charge more. Now nobody fucking, you don't see that getting flipped. No, you don't. And that's the other problem, because now you're like, all right, it's more available, but now I have to pay more because it's universally more because somebody ruined it. So I don't think that's quite going to happen in the cigar business. Not that stores don't charge more for certain things, but I don't think the manufacturers are going to take that route of enforcing the stores to charge more for it.
I think a lot of places regulate that too, like shops, because I think shops kind of don't like that. I mean, like, when it comes to flipping, I guess the best example of it, where you see it in complete full force, would be if you go to any Carlito Opus event. Like, you will get people that travel, like, the distance to go to one of these events and just buy as much as they can.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we had an instance of that before I worked at Twins, when Carlito did one of his big Opus events probably like 6 or 7 years ago, and people were telling me about it. And like one guy showed up from like across the country, I forget what state, but he came in first in line and he started just taking boxes and had a big pile of them. And Kurt was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm buying all this Opus." And then Kurt recognized who he was.
Yeah.
From a company that flips that. I don't even think they're around anymore, but I won't say the name of them. And he's like, no. Now this guy has like probably 10 grand worth of product in his hands, stacked up like 20 pizza boxes. And they're like, no. Because he knows why he's buying them, and he's not supporting that. So I think some people regulate it in their own store, but
usually at those events, it's like a 2 cigar per box limit.
Yeah, usually. I mean, that specific event, there was more than enough Opus to go around, but typically it's usually limited to, because I mean, when you do stuff like that, the stuff's gonna sell anyway. Like if you have like a rare cigar, like Opus, for instance. Or even like a tat event, we have like the rare tats coming at the Halloween.
Even some of the tats Hawaii stuff.
Yeah, like you want to limit it, because to me it's like it's going to sell no matter what. So you might as well allow your customers to enjoy it, give everyone an even chance on obtaining it. So I think places do combat it, but there is, if you look online, I think Facebook's the more prominent area you see flipping.
100%.
You also have what is it called? Is it Puro Trader? I don't know. Is that website still around? But that is a flipper.
I don't even know. I mean, I think they are, but I don't really care about it.
Something happened with COVID with them, and I don't know if they're still functioning or not. But that was one of the online websites you would flip. I mean, I think they would buy it then just flip it. But then a lot of people do it. Like I know like 3 people that are Cuban flippers, and like, how do you even do that now with how much money it is? But it's the same thing. But with Cuban flipping, I get it in a way, because if you really want Cubans, like, people pay to not deal with getting Cubans because of how much of a headache it is to get Cubans. So I get like paying for that. Like you pay a guy to get real. You can look at the Cuban, you can verify it's real, and then buy it. So I get flipping Cubans. Especially because you kind of have to flip Cubans, because you can't buy them yourself here.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
But because even if you buy from one of these websites that sell Cubans, you're still flipping it, because their MSRP on their website is going to factor in that they have to buy it from a Habanos retailer or whatever, and then sell
unless
it
you're
and make
buying
something
from
on it.
Europe that ships it into.
Which is a possibility, but there is a lot of flipping though. I think in all of these kind of niche industries, like whether it's bourbon, spirits, wine, there's always flipping.
Well, there's always the collector's market. There's always a secondary market of people who just want it. Maybe they don't collect, but they just want it. So there's always, a lot of industries. Cigars, wine, booze, cars, jewelry, like watches. There's guys out there collect watches. They pay. You see guys are paying, 30, 40 grand for a fucking date just because it's, 30 years old, and they only came out with, the rose gold dial with the stainless bracelet and the diamond bezel. Like, they only made 400 of them. So it, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's shit like that. I mean, you can come up with so many examples because, it does exist. It exists in so many industries. And that's the problem is, to an extent, some of it's justified, but then a lot of it isn't because of how out of control it gets. Yeah. And I think that's what's disappointing. Let's read our news off really quickly, which kind of ties into what we're talking about. But our news is once again brought to you by Micallef Cigars. That's right, smoke through the rainbow with all the colors. Micallef black, blue, red, and I believe yellow might be coming soon. I hear it through the grapevine. Maybe even another color. We'll see. But yeah, so in addition, one of the things that got announced late last week, and you can read about it on SmokinTabacco.com, Arturo Fuente ships the Opus X 2020, also informally called the Opus X Dubai, to U.S. retailers for the first time. So the Opus X 2020, for those who are not part of that circle, or smoke Opus or follow it, collect it, whatever, it's a blend that was specifically created as a exclusive to the United Arab Emirates. It came out in 2020, and excuse me. And, it's exclusive. So it's a cigar that we've seen over here before. But again, it's because there's been some retailers who have acquired it from over there to sell it here. And the few times I've seen some people selling it here, those boxes have gone for like $2,000. And it's because, you got to go all the way to Dubai to pay whatever they're getting for it over there. Because, in Dubai, they're paying a shit ton of money for a box of cigars. And then you got to make money on it. So even if that box is like $1,500 in Dubai, you're going to charge $2,000 and make $500. And so I'm not sure what the pricing is for the U.S.
It's like $35 a stick, around that. It's in the 30 range.
Oh, is it?
Like I said, like Opus isn't like MSRP that bad. It's just people can get more for it, so you typically see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in line with the blues and the forbidden. It's like $30 to $40 range.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. So that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, so I wouldn't expect to pay $2,000 for it, but at least if you buy from a store. But yeah, so those are going out to U.S. retailers this holiday season. I have to stop yawning. I apologize. It's been a long day. If you are interested, I would speak to your local retailer about availability. That's probably very, very slim. But just so you know, shops are getting it. It will be for sale. And I believe Carlito told me this is a one-time deal. This was a decision that was made as a thank you to their retailers, giving them something a little extra special for holidays, kind of, boost some of their sales, give them a little, extra little bump. People will buy it. So if this is something you're interested in, you don't want to pay an arm and a leg to get it, definitely keep your eyes peeled and stay vigilant, because when they ultimately do land, these are not going to last probably the day. So I know it's another one. It's like it comes in and it's already gone. But so that's our news for this week. Kind of went along with what we were talking about. But we'll get back to our show, which we're almost done with, actually. Damn, holy shit, we're over an hour. But yeah, I mean, we kind of started the show with a pre-planned topic, but then we actually kind of got away from that and went into this whole other thing, which I'm not upset about, because it's an interesting topic to cover, and I'm glad that we did, because it doesn't really get talked about a lot, and I think there's a lot that can be learned from it. Especially for consumers, just kind of buyer beware. There's a lot of things. Just because someone's asking for an insane price on something that's rare doesn't always necessarily mean it's even worth that. Even no matter how bad you want it, it's like you shouldn't spend some of these asking prices. I've seen. I mean, I know you have to. See what people ask for certain things, and I'm like, I mean, I know it's rare, guy, but come on. Like, are you just trying to fuck people over at this point? Like, I mean, come on. I mean, how greedy can you be? How many yachts can you water ski behind? Right?
I've definitely said no a lot more times than yes when it comes to acquiring rare cigars.
Yeah, and people have approached me over the years, and I've told them no, because I don't.
It's almost out of principle too. Like, it's some instances where it's been something I really wanted, and like I have the money. Is it a smart purchase? No, but I have the money to buy it. But it's like I'm not gonna fucking give this guy this much money just because he got a cigar that I want.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I don't want him to benefit like that. It's. I think one of the common things I see which is a no-no, but for whatever reason it happens a lot, is people buy. And this isn't exclusive to Opus because I feel like we talked a lot about Opus tonight. It's not. I mean, Halloween cigars. It's all the special cigars.
The problem is it's hard to stay away from it when it's probably the most
sought after. I mean,
it's
like
the most secondhand sold.
I can just name a bunch of brands like a Padron, the Millennium when it came out was the same way.
Yeah, no, it was.
The Tat Halloween ones, the pumpkin ones. Let's take
even some of just the regular Tat Limiteds that will come out, like the ones that come in the plain box that say Tatuaje Limited.
Yep.
Which there's many different cigars that have come out in the Tatuaje Limited, branding. Those are all usually you'll see those because it's a one and done run, and Tatuaje has its own following, and I can tell you several times I've seen people try to sell stuff, and sometimes what people do is they acquire it and then they wait for a while until the availability kind of shortens down. And like a year later, you'll see like when the T110s came back.
Oh yeah, those were slowly flipped. Yep.
Those were slowly flipped. I acquired some boxes of it. I still have one fully sealed box, and I bought those all to keep for me because I love them. And I've had people offer me amounts of money for that sealed box, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna open that and smoke it. I'm letting those rust. No, because people just like oh, but if I give you a number, I'm like, I don't give a shit what your number is. Those are mine. Like, and I want to age them and smoke them. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm not into the flipping market. So it's but yeah, I mean, like that's
Liga
another
Privada.
example. That's another example. Yeah.
Yeah, Liga's another one.
Ligas, especially when the H99s and the Liga 10s were harder to acquire.
Yeah, whenever a new one comes out, it's always some kind of money. And there's other one. Davidoff is also. There's a lot of flippers for that.
Yeah,
but
there's some.
I think just because of how easy it is to do with Opus, it's so common. Like, people buy the humidors and then they take the cigars out and then they sell the cigars for like hundreds of dollars a piece. They pay off the humidor that they got for free at this point, and they've made a profit off of it. You're not supposed to sell them separately. I mean, if you buy it as a consumer, who cares? You can do what you want with them, but it's easier to do with Opus just because it has the name, it has the notoriety, and it's the marketing and the way it's released is done in such a way that it's so easy to have the demand to buy it, then flip it to somebody else, even if you just make like $5 a stick off of it. So it's definitely common with that. Yeah, T110 broadleafs.
It is the broadleaf.
It's funny because and that's what I like. If you aren't just like,
and I'm almost ready to crack that box open too. I told Pat, I'm like, we're gonna open that soon.
Like, the thing is like, and this is what, if you are a genuine consumer and you genuinely enjoy the brand, you know what to buy and you will buy it. And then when the demand goes, like T110s, like Tat smokers knew that was something that you should buy when it comes out.
Oh yeah.
And
I know.
So people bought it for MSRP because at the time there was enough of them. Like, no one was flipping them. So people bought them knowing that, wait 3-4 years, it's going to be an insane cigar. And now everyone, like, if you sold a box of them now, if you have it sealed, like, you'll probably get at least double what you paid for it. And it's, so it's if you know what the product and you're a fan of it, you can capitalize on that, and then again, I think most people like that won't sell that box. Like Matt, for instance, he won't sell the box.
No.
If I got a box of, I'll just use a bundle of PJs because I'm an Opus whore. If I got a bundle of PJs, I'm not flipping that just because that's like my cigar, right? Like, there's no money that would exchange for me to have those cigars. So it's like that kind of genuineness of enjoying the brand.
There's a couple of comments here. So Andrew said, open that thing up. Yeah, I won't sell that box. I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to smoke it with Pat down here in the lounge. And one day we're just going to open it up and be like, this is for me and you, bud. And we're going to enjoy those. I ain't selling those to nobody. Like he said, I specifically kept that particular box. I smoked all the other ones, and I smoked tons of them, and they were great. Then I kept one box, and I acquired it, and I said, I'm gonna put this away, and I put it away. I stuck it in the back of the humidor, and I buried it in one of my cabinets because I got a cabinet. I stuck it in the back. I buried all the box. I don't even want to look at it. I want to forget that I have it because I'm going to be too tempted. And that was years ago. And I stuck it in there, and I buried it. And I did. I forgot about it. And then when I moved into the new house last year, and I kind of, reset everything up again, I remember I was like, oh, I forgot I had these. And I did some reorganizing, and now I have a lot of my Tatuaje in one cabinet altogether. And it's right up front, kind of like on display. And then it got to a point where I didn't need to forget about it, but it was just like, all right, I sat on it for this long, like I gotta keep this going. So then it became easy, but now I'm at a point where I'm like Andrew's point, I'm like, yeah, I mean it's almost time to crack them open. I mean I can't save them forever, but yeah, man, and I can't wait. And those things are gonna be great. Those are gonna be great. Yeah.
I changed.
Even Mitchell, for those who remember Mitchell's like, hey, when you open that box, like, don't forget about me. And I'm like, I didn't forget about Mitchell, but the problem is Mitchell's not smoking right now. So I'm like, I have to at least make sure I save some for Mitchell for when he comes back from his smoking hiatus. To be like, Mitchell, by the way, we opened that box.
Yeah, I changed the way that I store cigars now because I used to be a huge nerd about it. So I would, my thought process was, when someone rolls a cigar, they put it in the aging rooms for whatever the amount of time is, and there's no cellophane on them. So when I would buy a box, I made the mistake that I want to age. I made the mistake of I would open the box up, I would take them out of the cellophane, which in practice I think is a good idea. I think it's a good way of kind of maturing the tobacco further for fermentation. But I smoke them. Like when the box is open, it's like I'm like, oh well, it's been they've been aging for 4 days. Like, I want to see what the difference is, right? I'm not just smoking it just to smoke it. It's been 4 days. Let's try it out. And then a week goes by. Oh, it's been a week now. The next thing you know, you're only a couple months in. You had the whole box already. And you're like, shit.
Yeah.
Or you get
I've been there.
Or you get 2 left now, which they're literally the T110s. Same thing. Open the box up. Took them out of the which Tad does it so perfectly. Keep it in the that's why I love the brown labels. Because they're not in cellophane, they're in that wax paper, and it's just, I don't know what it is about that. I wish everyone did that. I don't know what it is about the wax paper of Tatuaje. It's just, in the store, I would open a box up of Tat, and I would buy it, because when I open the wax paper, I'm just snorting it, the cigars, and I'm like, I need to buy this now, shit, because I just smelled the hell out of it. But I don't know what it is about wax paper. I don't know why I just got on that weird tangent about wax paper.
You really like wax paper.
I don't know what it is about it. I'm like Diddy with wax paper, right? It's if you go to my house, it's just wax paper in the fuck everywhere.
Do you have a lot of baby oil too?
No, just wax paper.
Sure.
Just wax paper everywhere. You go to my basement, there's a questionable amount of wax paper, but it's. I don't know. Why did I go on that tangent? I think we can probably get off that now. But
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to get away from that because we're just talking about wax paper now.
Yeah. Point being though is I open the boxes of Tat, and then now the T110 situation, I maybe have 2 left at home just because I opened the box up and I just didn't stop. It was oh, this is my month anniversary of buying this box. I guess I have to have another one.
Which I think those ones, if I remember correctly, those ones have the foil on them.
The T110s?
I think the bundle is wrapped in foil inside the box.
Wax paper foil.
Yeah.
That's how we got on that topic. That's what I did wrong. That wax paper's in my basement somewhere.
No, but it's not just the wax paper. It's got the gold foil around it too.
Well, yeah, it's all of it's wax paper in foil.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because I know some of them it's just plain wax paper.
Yeah, and I see, and then the new pork chops, the Tuck's Up pork chops came out, which there's a name for it in Spanish. I completely forget what it is now, but
not the pork tenderloin.
The pork tenderloin.
Lomo de cerdo.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I got those too.
So that they had the meat wrap paper around it, and I'm like, oh, that's sick. And then I open it up, and they're all cellophane, and I'm like, fuck. Don't cello it, But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost time, and one of these days we're gonna open that up. Not on a show day. On a night when I'm like, Pat, come over. We're not doing anything. We're gonna open something. We're gonna open that.
Yeah, we just smoke through the whole box.
And then what's gonna happen is once the box is open,
they're gonna be gone in a week.
Every time Pat comes over, he's I'm just gonna meander in there, and I'll grab another T110. I'm gonna be like, oh, nice, good choice. And I'm not gonna pay attention. And then I'm gonna be like, where'd all those T110s go? And Pat's gonna be like, oh, they're gonna smoke them all.
I'm just gonna take the band off and walk in. Hey, what are you smoking? It's a wall cigar I got from Twins. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
What this thing
Kurt
is.
gave it to me on my way out of work today.
It looks
I
like
don't know.
it's like the size of like a cigar that I remember. I don't know what it is. I think did Tat make it? I'm like, oh no. It's a random wall cigar. I don't know what I don't know.
I've already smoked half of it. This is like the nub.
Yeah. It's like a 8-inch cigar. What do you mean? This thing's like going.
I'm gonna have to keep an eye on you. Holy shit! I'm sorry. I'm yawning again. It's been a long day. I gotta be up early again tomorrow. Uncle Larry, just wanted to say Pat has been a nice addition to the show. I wanted to make sure I read this comment because I agree. It's been nice.
It's nice that somebody appreciates me here. Thank you, Uncle Larry.
You are appreciated.
You know, Matt, he hits me before the show starts.
No one's gonna believe that.
That's why I started wearing this padded clothing, so I don't have bruising when I go home.
Yeah.
I mean, the second the show started, you like, move, scoot over.
You were too close to me. I felt uncomfortable.
It was aggressive. It was.
I wasn't in the.
it
I wasn't
was-
in the. I wasn't
It
in the
was pretty
shot.
hostile. It was aggressive. I didn't appreciate it at all.
Well, you know what? I didn't appreciate you cutting me out of the shot.
And then I mentioned, the
'Kay.
it wasn't a dusting of cinnamon on the eggnog, and you got visibly upset about that. And it's.
I'm gonna talk about this after the show.
Yeah, people that watch the show, they can read into it. This is like some domestic abuse here. It's
Domestic
I
abuse.
use the
We
D
don't live
word.
together.
I'm here enough now. I mean, we do like.
It's true. He is at my house all the time now.
Yeah, I use the D word. It's out there
Domestic.
now. Yep, it's out there now. But thank you, Uncle Larry. I appreciate everyone watching this show that has accepted me being on the show with Matt.
Yeah. It's been great having you here, Pat. You brought a lot to the table. You've brought new life to the show, which I appreciate. And it's exciting to think about what we're going to do next year. We've already been talking about a lot of stuff for next year, and we'll get into it as time goes on. But, we've talked about Saka Roulette. For those who don't know, we're going to be running a Saka Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust contest every month in 2025. We're going to announce what the contest will be at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, we'll pick the winner. And every month, someone will get a box of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cigars and one of their mugs. For those who've already forgotten, or if you don't know, you can head to SmokinTobacco.com and you can write to us on the Contact Us page, or you can comment on one of our DTT reviews on the website. And it's the Roast of Saka, which is the first contest, which will end on our last January show. Which if I say the wrong date, don't hold it against me. It's the last Wednesday of January. It's either the 25th or the 28th, something like that. Last Wednesday of January, though. We're gonna pick a winner, and we've already gotten a lot of submissions. We're very surprised. But if you send us a message on the Contact Us page or comment on one of the DTT reviews. The best roast of Saka, the best roast of Steve. I mean, look, I ain't saying it, so you guys, whatever you got, send it in. There's no limit. If you can send multiple. If you got 4 of them, you get 10 of them. I get one guy sent me like 15 of them. I was like, yeah, send them. I mean, you get more opportunities to make me laugh. I don't know. We may or may not put these past Steve. I don't know. I might just not and then pick one. But yeah, send us your things. You can also email us, I guess too, if it's easier for you. All of our email addresses are pretty easy. It's just our first names. Matthew, his is pat@smokintobacco.com. And yeah, just send in your roasts. Send in your roasts of what you got, and hopefully you win. You get a box of cigars, and then the month after that, be a new contest. But we're not talking about it. We're gonna wait. We're not trying to get too ahead of ourselves. We're gonna tell you guys each contest as it happens. So that's it. That's Saka Roulette for 2025. But like I said, first contest is open now. Send those submissions in. Send us some roasts, and maybe that took that right from him too. That was easy. It's like taking candy from a baby. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Mickey read a black unicorn. I like that. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Speaking of unicorn shows, might as well.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's fine. Just check your humidor on the way out.
Those are fucking cool though. Like the coffins too. Like I like how he did like that gloss piano black.
He
like,
did, and I know exactly
he did it
what
nice.
he was going for with the unicorns. Is it looks like a '70s Mustang.
What do you mean? The cigar?
No, like just the packaging. It has like that, especially the brulee blue unicorn.
Oh, the baby blue. Oh, that one looks nice too.
It looks like an antique Mustang, and it looks. I don't want to say it looks expensive because it is expensive, but it has that aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah. I mean, he does a good job. I think we've talked about that plenty of times. We're supposed to be roasting him, not complimenting him. So
I know.
He knows how to.
He knows how to drum up business.
He knows how to do it.
Now, Pat, you could redeem yourself right there by giving us a little bit of your soccer impression.
Oh God! See, I gotta get going for it. You know, I think the day that I was bitching about coffee would have been like the day they had me do a soccer impression because
I think you did. I think you did it in soccer. I think you.
Oh, you know what? I probably did without even realizing it.
I think you did. I think you went right into it like, oh, if it's had coffee in the courtroom, but the judge said no. But I feel like I'm special enough where like I should have it because like I'm tired.
I never understood you can't have coffee in a courtroom. It's I don't know what.
Does that infuriate you?
I just
do you take it out as a prosecutor? Do you take it out on the defendant? Like, how dare you, sir? I didn't have my coffee today, so I'm extra fucking pissy. How dare you?
You go to fucking law school for 3.5 years.
Here we go.
And you're gonna tell me I can't have fucking coffee in a courtroom like I'm some fucking child.
Here we go.
Like it's I'm not gonna go into it again. But what the fuck?
George Costanza.
Like you would think like I had an image in my head.
George Costanza.
When I'm getting ready for the bar exam, I'm like, I'm gonna pass this fucking test. I'm gonna be a lawyer. I'm gonna argue, which is what I've been wanting to do my whole life. I just bitch and argue the entire fucking day and get paid for it, right? And I'm gonna have a fucking cup of coffee, black. Get some hair on my chest. I have one hair. I want to get like I want to look like Matt with his fucking little shirt down, with fucking hair coming out. I'm going to drink fucking black coffee like it's going out of fucking style. All right? I'm going to be constipated all fucking week. That's how much coffee I'm going to drink in this fucking courtroom.
Wow.
But you can't do it. You can't have only water. No, and not only, you can't bring your own water in. No, we have to use water that's supplied, which isn't Fiji. You're drinking Fiji water, so you have a thing about tap water yourself, I'm sure. You drink a fucking Fiji douchebag.
First of all, hold on. I drink plenty of tap water.
Okay. So you just bougie up on the show. That's fake. Yeah, I said it. It's fucking fake.
First of all, I keep bottled water down here in the lounge for guests. I grabbed one because I don't have my jug with me because I left it in my truck. Okay? But I drink plenty of tap water. In fact, 99% of the water I drink is tap water.
I just,
But I like to have delectables for my guests in my home because I like to host. And I like people to feel comfortable.
I like to have coffee in a courtroom, but that's something.
Don't tear me down just because the fucking courtroom won't let you have coffee in there. Ooh, big deal.
I don't get it. I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Do what everyone else does.
I probably sound like an asshole.
Crush up
there
some Adderall.
There might be a valid reason for it.
Put it on a wet paper towel and shove it up your ass like all the other weirdos. You'll be good to go in about 45 minutes.
I just, coffee, you had this image in your head. It just doesn't happen, It's just whatever. You can't have coffee.
I'm telling you, I just envision you being extra angry in that courtroom.
It's like
extra unruly, like the judge.
My morning.
The judge is like, this is a sentence that carries, 6 months in prison, and this kid's like, I did my coffee today. Fuck that, 20 to life, douchebag. He stole $100 from a convenience store.
Yeah, fuck
Let's
this
put
guy.
him away. It's like, calm down. He's a first-time offender. It's not even a felony.
Yeah,
and this kid's like, put him away forever. Give him the chair.
I am very just.
I didn't get my Starbucks today.
But
I didn't get my frappe mochaccino.
If you see me, I have like a system in place now. I wake up in the morning, make a coffee right off the bat, right off the rip, make coffee. I don't do anything else. Coffee. Right, I'm in the shower. I'm chugging this coffee. I'm getting coffee down.
You don't have your morning shit?
On the way to work, I drink so much coffee. I have an issue shitting. So now I stop by a coffee place on the way to work, and I fucking house down that coffee. I go into the place. I have K-Pods in the office, make coffee. Now, this is the one that sucks. This is what sets the standard for the day.
Wait a minute. Pause. Your office is in the courthouse.
Yes, it's not a courtroom though. In the courtroom.
So in the courthouse you can have coffee.
Yeah, that's fine. The courtroom you can't. But you spend a lot
I
of
was
your
under
time
the
in courtroom.
understanding that when you walked in the building you couldn't have coffee. So I'm like, all right.
Oh, I wouldn't be a lawyer if you couldn't have a coffee in the
It's just in the courtroom.
in the courtroom. Yeah.
I agree, it's annoying, but it's not like you couldn't be like, excuse me one moment,
like
and go
coffee.
to your office and like have a few sips and you'll be like, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I had to grab a file.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't think that would cut it. You can't just walk out like that. But I chug.
I don't know, it sounds like you tried.
The third coffee, I chug it, and it's still blistering hot. And it's just not it's not a good day. You just chug blistering hot coffee. That is what I subject myself to in the morning.
See what I say when I say this? This is George Costanza. This is right here. Just wow. What else? What else?
America
What? Wait, America runs what?
American runs on coffee. Let me tell you.
I thought you were gonna say Dunkin', but you don't look like a Dunkin' guy.
It runs on coffee. You know, you gotta.
Are you a Dunkin' guy?
It fuels my litigation skills.
Do you go to Dunkin' Donuts?
It's accessible. I'm gonna say right now, this is another debate.
Here we go.
Dunked coffee fucking sucks.
It does.
I'm sorry.
It does.
It fucking sucks. And I'm a black
Trash.
coffee guy. Black coffee.
Trash.
And it's like
Trash.
you go to a drive-through at Dunks, right? And it's always fucking packed. And it's like you go in there and everyone's yelling at each
someone's
other.
old wrinkly grandmother who smokes like 2 packs of Pall Mall a day.
And
is
then you have
always
this
on there
person
like,
that comes in.
Did you want a medium or did you want a large?
Someone goes in and they're like, yeah, let me get. And it's finally like, oh
And
my
I'm like,
god!
ugh.
I walk in, like you walk in the store instead of doing the drive-through.
$29.50.
You just
pull
don't
up.
be lazy for a little bit. Go inside. It's usually a little quicker because no one's going inside because no one walks anymore. You go in. There's only one lady in line in front of you, and you're like, oh my god, I'm second in line. It's gonna be fucking sick, and I'm only getting a black fucking coffee. It takes 10 seconds to do. It's so quick. It's the quickest thing ever. It's quicker than fucking Matt when he made his baby. It's fucking so quick. 10 fucking seconds.
well, that was rude.
Fuck you. 10 seconds. All right. So you wait for the little lady in front of you to finish, or it could be a guy. Doesn't matter. So whoever's in front of you, and they're like, oh, let me get I'll get a iced Dunkachino with 5 squirts cream. I want to get 5 sugars, extra. And then okay, we'll do it. So now
Can I
it
get a
comes out.
sausage, egg, and cheese?
No, and then it comes out. They didn't even get fucking food. And then they sip it. Oh, this is a 3 cream, 5 sugar, extra. I wanted an extra 5. I want you to bring it back. So now they have to deal with this lady, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm just getting a black fucking coffee. When you're over there, make my black coffee. I'll pay for it after. But you're over there now. Get me the fuck out of here, while this lady's getting her fucking sugar with a side of coffee. Fuck.
You know, I saw this video recently. It's like real, and it was someone. I think it was someone who works at Dunks, and it was just like they had like the camera like close up like on the cup under the machine that does like the sugar in the milk, because I guess it's all automated. They don't pour it in.
Yeah. And it still fucking burns it, by the way.
And the person like put it all in, and you just see this thing start pouring sugar into like the biggest iced coffee cup. And they do like an extra large, like the big cup, and you see the sugar start going in. And like how like there's that smaller part at the bottom before it like goes wide. That smaller part of the cup was like full of sugar, and then it kept going. I was like, it's still going? I'm like, how much fucking sugar? Then it stopped. And then they started putting in like the caramel syrup or whatever. And then that was going. And then it was like, at this point, the cup was a third of the way full. And it just had sugar and caramel. And I was like, what is going on here? And then it started putting the milk in. And the milk went up past the halfway mark. And then they put the ice in. And now I'm like, this cup's already full. And then they did like a fart of like coffee. And I'm like, that's not even coffee. That's a sugar caramel milkshake with a splash of coffee in there for like, I don't even know what that does.
There was a time I went
I'm like,
in
what? Who's drinking that?
and they messed up an order,
This is disgusting.
and I got my coffee.
That's diabetes.
And they offered me the messed up order for free because it's messed up, so why not?
Why not just fix it?
Yeah, well, no, because they fixed it for the person, but then the coffee's still there, and they didn't sip it.
I see. And then you're like, "Do you want it?" And it's
So I was like,
no.
fuck it, why not coffee? You know, I think you know enough about me at this point that coffee, I'll double fist coffee. I sipped it,
See,
and it
this
was
is where the fisting
most,
comes back into play.
It was the most repugnant thing I've had in my entire fucking life. It was so sugary. It's like, who the hell can drink this? And it's like I felt like I got diabetes in a sip. It was fucked. And I don't know how people can drink that. But the thing is, I think people, like, if you go black, you get
You never
used
go
to
back.
it. I wasn't going to say it that way, but you get used to it. And then, like, you can't do cream and sugar again. And well, when you're, like, that deep in the cream, I don't think it'll work. Because you don't even drink coffee at that point. You're drinking, like, you're so lost in the cream at that point. You don't even know what the fuck coffee is. You're just going in at Dunks, and you're like, let me get all your fucking sugar pumps and fucking cream, and then put some coffee in there while you're at it. Fuck it, it's Dunks. It's like, what the fuck? But but then you go to like Starbucks, and then it's like more traditional coffee people. I feel like, like.
Well, you get the snobs out there who are like, all the gins.
Oh, and there is some
And it's
characters
like,
at Starbucks. There
look.
is some.
I think that nobody, like, Nicole and I, first of all, we don't have a Keurig. We've never owned a Keurig. Okay.
Fucking losers.
I know people who, like, their life lives and dies on the Keurig machine, and I'm like,
I use an espresso.
It's watered down. Like, it's never hot enough. Before we had our daughter, we lived in our old place. Sorry. Nicole got really into the Nespresso machine, the bigger ones that made like the full cups.
Nespresso.
And they were good.
Fucking shit.
And it's good.
All right, good. If you didn't say that was good, we're gonna have to shut the podcast off.
I mean, it's good, and it's good. I have to say, it was always good quality coffee. It always had like the frothiness to it. It was good. I mean, the problem is you buy a sleeve of those pods, and it's like $17. You know what I mean? That's like 10 pods. So it's like
good.
It's good, but so Nicole and I were like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. We're spending like $150 on coffee pods like every other week. So we ended up finding a great combo, full drip, that also does the smaller espresso capsules from Nespresso. So you can do the capsules, or you can do a full drip pod.
Okay, so knock off Nespresso.
No, it's it's good for what it is.
Okay.
I've even gotten into grinding my own beans and stuff like that. I've gotten really into really conventional coffee making. French press, pour over. I've tried all the other ones. I've sourced some. In all seriousness, a side note, I will give a minute here. Gabby Caffey from Caffeine 1901 Cigars. Him and his wife sent us a couple bags of their Colombian and their Brazilian whole bean. Ground them and brewed them fresh myself. That was some great fucking coffee. Credit where it's due. Like, cigars are good, but like their coffee, delicious. Great fucking coffee. For what it's worth. Really, really good stuff. But I started grinding my own stuff, making my own stuff, and it's great. And we love it. I honestly think that's some of the best coffee I have, the stuff I make myself. Having said that, sometimes you have to buy coffee on the go. I will say, in my experience, I cannot drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I think it's disgusting. And we live in New England where Dunkin' Donuts is king. Just no. I don't even go there for the food. But, like, I will in a pinch. And even then, like, I'll get food, but I won't get the coffee. I'll still, like, if I have to, I'll go to Dunkin' Donuts and get food. And then I'll still go to another drive-thru at, like, Starbucks or somewhere else that has a coffee that's acceptable to me. And I'll get the coffee there. That's how much I hate Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Starbucks coffee is pretty decent. And the reason why I say that is because for when you're on the go, I like their iced coffee. I like how strong it is because I like a stronger coffee. I hate when it's mild. I hate when it's, watered down or whatever. Obviously it's a little expensive. Prices on Starbucks are just ridiculous. So I don't really go there all the time, but I will go there and I will enjoy it. Another place I've gotten coffee in a pinch that I don't mind, and I've had very like agreeable and very disagreed answers to this. And this is going to be extreme from Pat. I already know it. Whether he really agrees with me or he disagrees, I'm going to have to listen to it now.
I'm already tensed up right now.
McDonald's coffee is not bad in a pinch. And I'll tell you why. They use Newman's own coffee. Newman's own coffee is not bad.
Okay, I can vibe with that.
You know what I mean? It's good.
I've had McDonald's
Listen,
experience with
it's
coffee.
not my favorite. I won't drink it every day, but I would drink that over Dunkin' Donuts.
See, my thing is like, McDonald's has their. I don't eat McDonald's. I haven't had fast food in years, but they know how to run a fucking drive-through, and that's big.
It is.
Because I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about Dunks. If anyone here works at Dunks, it's not personal, but holy shit. It's like every fucking Dunkin' Donuts is like the next episode of Kitchen Nightmares. What is it called when the guy goes in? He's like, oh, you guys all fucking suck at your job. I'm going to yell at you guys. I'm going to, and they reopen the restaurant. Is it Kitchen Nightmares? You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you go in there and everyone's pissed at each other, and you're just like, I just want to get a fucking coffee. So you either subject yourself to that, or, you know what we should do? We should make a fucking coffee place. Let's fix the problem. But you either deal with that, you walk in, and it's like this environment where everyone's like about to kill each other over a fucking Dunkaccino, or...
You always get good coffee around here? Press Cafe.
Yeah, but good fight. It's out of my way to go there. Or you go to Starbucks and pay a shit ton of money for better coffee, and you get the occasional moral dilemma where they're doing some fucking animal shelter charity that you have to round up $1 or whatever it is, which is fine. I'm all for it. But if you get coffee every fucking day, it's like, it was one day I made the mistake. I'm like, oh, I get coffee a week. I'll donate fucking $10 to this thing. Which no one does $10 in these things. I'm like, I'll do $10 because I come all the time. I'll give $10 for the animal shelter. I go in the next day to get coffee. It asks me the question. And in my head, I'm like, I fucking did $10 yesterday. Fuck it. I'm not gonna, I did my thing. And then I do it, and the lady looks at me and just gives me a slight
that's not
look.
even the worst thing.
And in my head,
That's not
I'm
even the
like,
worst
this
thing.
lady has no fucking clue that I just paid $10 for a bag of fucking dog food for this animal shelter. $10 fucking for this thing yesterday. And it's like, what do you do? Like, now it's like I gotta get coffee, and I gotta deal with like looking like an asshole for not rounding up 2 cents on my fucking coffee.
I see your donation, and I'm going to call and I'm going to raise the unnecessary tipping. Out of fucking control. Like,
See, Starbucks, I tip because they actually, like at Dunks, the machine does everything for you. You just put the cup down and it does it all for you, right?
mm-hmm.
Starbucks, they actually froth the milk if you get like a latte or cappuccino. They
measure it all out. They mix it.
So
I know. They shake it. I know.
I'm a big tipper. Like I tip. I'll tip everywhere. Like that's just how I am. Because again, like I worked at the bar, so I bartended. So I appreciate.
Well,
that
bar,
portion of
yeah.
it.
I mean,
No,
I tip at the bar.
But now Dunks is different because now if I do a big order, like there's times where I'll go in and I'll get like a dozen donuts if I'm gonna bring to work or whatever. I'll get like a box of Joe, coffee, and all that, like stuff that you have to kind of like hustle and do. I tip for that kind of stuff because they're actually like there's work involved in that. If I get a fucking black coffee and you're just pouring it, like if I pay with cash, keep the change. They're like, oh, thank you, I'll buy a fucking car with it. It's like, yeah, it's 50 cents for a fucking $2 coffee, fucking 25%. You're welcome, bitch.
wow.
Sorry.
You got angry
But-
there.
Yeah, so more of the story is make coffee great again. I think that's the takeaway from this. Someone needs to make a coffee chain
Maca.
that eliminates the bullshit, right? Like, keep track of my animal donations so I don't look like an asshole every day of the week when I go in there, right? And then just have your shit together, right? Like, do you know how defeating it is when you go into a Dunks and the drive-thru is backed up to the street? Like, what do you do in that situation? You want coffee.
You
but
turn
it's
around,
like,
you leave.
yeah, that's what you do, and you just go to the next one. But the next one's even worse. And they go to the next one. It's even
And then you
worse.
deal with all of that, and you get to the courthouse, and you want to go into the courtroom, and the bailiff
And you
goes,
can't even
"Bop, bop,
fucking
bop,
drink
bop,
it.
bop."
Yeah,
No coffee in the courtroom.
It's like, I just went through fucking hell to get this goddamn cup of black coffee.
Have you tried smuggling the coffee in?
I don't want to play that game.
Have you tried bringing instant coffee in and then you mix it in the glass once you're in there?
Well, so I bring pods in with me now. I'm like a little drug dealer. I have like this pocket of K-cup pods, and I'm like fucking going in this place.
Oh, you drink K-cups at work?
What the fuck else am I gonna do? Are you in an office?
You get the refillable one. You fill it with grinds.
It's the same fucking thing.
No, because you can pack it heavier than those stupid plastic cups are.
Okay, well, fuck me then. But whatever.
Use your
point is-
brain.
So,
I mean, that's
moral of
like
the story
worst case scenario.
is I'm not bitching. I'm sure there's a valid reason why there's no coffee in the courtroom, and I support that. Whatever it is, I support it.
The next time you go to judge's chambers for something, if you're by yourself, be like, Judge, can I speak off the record?
What's
Sure.
funny, I don't think it's the judge.
What do you got? I'd be like, why can't we drink coffee in the courtroom? Like, I'm just curious.
I saw one video.
This has been my axe to grind since I got here.
I saw one video of a judge yelling at somebody for having coffee, and the yelling was, "I can't even drink coffee in here." So it's like even they can't. So it's like, where does it come from? I'm so curious where that came from. You can't drink coffee in the courtroom.
Is it the clerk? Is it the county clerk?
I don't know what it is.
Who came up with it?
There could be some valid reason for it. I just don't know what it is.
The governor was just like, you know what? Tell all the courthouses no coffee.
But granted, like I don't think anyone thinks that much about it other than me. Like I'm like tunnel vision on coffee in a courtroom. I mean, most people are like, fuck it, I'll just drink it before I go up. And it's like, yeah, but like I drink it before I go up.
So on
and
Friday
I wanna
night,
drink-
I had to listen to this whole thing, and I had to listen to about the jacket, which happened first, and then the second half of the night, I had to listen about the coffee. This was my Friday night. I'm bringing my Friday night to you, smoking cigars and listening to Pat complain. So
You're
you get to live like me. You get to live like me. You get to smoke cigars and listen to Pat. I'm bringing you the experience of my life.
It's a riveting experience, I think.
Oh, it is. Don't get me wrong. It's riveting. There's a lot of parts of this situation that are still enjoyable. Like watching Pat just. It's funny when it's not you. Like it's funny when you're with him and he's engaging with someone else that he's arguing with, and you're just like, here we go. The other thing I noticed about Pat too is when he starts to like you'll just be like going along, living your life, and then all of a sudden he's got he sees something that you're doing and he has a gripe to pick, and it's like, here we go. And he approaches it just like a lawyer would, and it almost just sounds like the opening statement from a trial. Oh, so you're gonna tell me? And I'm like, here we go. Where's the smoking gun? And Pat puts his whole case together in a matter of minutes. It just happened to me. I don't even remember what it was. But we were in my kitchen when he came, and he sat down at the counter with me, and he said something. I was like, "This sounds like you're presenting to the jury right now." I guess it's hard.
It was the pens, wasn't it?
I think it was the pens.
It was the pens.
Yeah, I wouldn't really bring that topic up right now, for a lot of obvious reasons. But yeah, I think that was.
That's what it was.
It was the pens. Listen, I did my part, man. I you just have to tell me what you want. I did my part. But anyway, look, we're going to wrap up the show. We've been on here for too damn long. But no, it's actually been a nice show, and I really enjoyed it. And it's nice to just have some general talk. But yeah, Saka Roulette is live. So reach out to us. Let us know. Send in your submissions. Give us your best. If it's too dark and graphic, I won't share it unless you really want me to. But I'll try not to, so you don't upset Steve. But what you send me, don't hold back. I might hold back what I show Steve, but send it in. I gotta make sure I find a clear winner on this. We will be. Are we doing spare notes this weekend? Yeah, we are.
Yep.
Yeah, we're doing spare notes this weekend. So Saturday night, it's me, Pat, and Coop. We're back at it again. I think we're gonna try to be on 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm trying to stick to that time, but sometimes it's a conflict with Coop doing jukebox, so I have to talk to Coop. But I will let you guys know the official time when I know more. And other than that, that's it. Next week is Christmas. We'll probably get together at some point and do a show. Maybe we'll do it after Christmas. We can do like a post-Christmas thing. But we'll get together next week, maybe later next week. And I'm so sorry. I keep yawning. I apologize. But yeah, next week we'll do a post-Christmas show. So stay tuned for more information on that. And then, as always, head to SmokinTabacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry. Make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and everywhere you find your podcast and all the podcast apps. And that's pretty much it. So you'll find us. We're out there. We'll see you on Saturday night. Spare notes. Take care, everybody. Keep it